What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. So Connor Orr from Sports Illustrated came out with his post-draft NFL power rankings. And, of course, his Eagles 1, Chiefs 2, because why wouldn't you? Bengals 3, Bills 4, Niners 5. All makes sense thus far. He has the New York Jets at 6. I don't know about that, boys. How do we feel about that? That feels a little trumped up. I'm not saying that Aaron Rodgers maybe can't be that guy, but like, and whatever. There are many reasons you can point to why Aaron Rodgers maybe struggled last year. Okay, so I'm not saying that he's not so great. He was just MVP back-to-back years. Like, I understand all of this, but I just got to see it with the Jets before I grant them the rank of 6. That's all I'm saying.
I agree with you because at the end of the day, there's still the Jets, Jets, and the Jets are going to jet. Even with Aaron Rodgers, we have to see it work. We have to see if all of that can kind of come together for them to be in the top 6. They have a roster.
Yeah.
The roster looks nice. And also we talked about it, you're banking on young players that in year 1 were stars. Year 2, that's where the film's out. That's where the book's out. That's where people plan for you now. And if you can break through year 2, then you're probably going to be here a while. If you can't, we've seen it happen a ton of times.
Ooh, how about the Lions at 8? Okay,
Grit.
a little frisky there. Cowboys at 9, disgusting, pathetic, horrible. And then you got to, you keep going down this list. You don't get to an NFC South team until the Atlanta Falcons at 20. Now, I should be clear about this. Connor Orr is infatuated with the Bijan Robinson pick. He absolutely loves it. He thinks it was maybe one of the best picks of the entire draft. And then he goes on to talk about what he granted Atlanta the rank of San Francisco, saying they're building something reminiscent of San Francisco where you don't really need a quarterback to be successful. That feels like a huge reach to me. Maybe not as much of a reach. They do have some pretty nice weapons, okay? If now you're combining Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, Drake London, like, okay, I kind of see where you're getting at there. But ultimately, with Desmond Ridder, I'm again, wait and see. So he's got Atlanta 20, then Carolina 23, already thinking that Bryce Young and those weapons, and then the New Orleans Saints down at 27 out of 32 teams, basically believing they are just stuck in purgatory.
I mean, I would actually, if I'm not going to have the Saints number 1 on this, I would have the Panthers over the Falcons, actually, because when you look at their roster and look at what they've done, you bring in Miles Sanders, Adam Thielen, DJ Chark, Hayden Hurst, you bring in some real weapons for your number 1 overall quarterback, and we know they have some guys, Derrick Brown, he's one of the very few guys that got his 5th-year option picked up because everybody seems to be getting that decline. They signed Shai Tuttle away from the Saints. Brian Burns is still on that team. Shaq Thompson's still on that team. Von Bell's now on that team. J.C. Horn's going to be healthy on that team. So, like, if you gave me a roster to pick from, I would go Carolina actually over Atlanta. But there's no way he's got the Colts 11 on here.
Yeah,
that's a big question mark for the Colts. They were bad a year ago, and I don't care like who was in, who was out. And you're drafting Anthony Richardson, and we've talked so many times long enough about what his career potentially could be and could not be. So that's extremely high on this list. And the Bears at 26, right ahead of the Saints as well.
It's definitely some disrespect to the Saints here from Orr. I think that a lot of it is based off of an offense last year that was very boring and non-threatening at all. And we talked all about the philosophy of last season and how bad it was, how kind of just, again, non-threatening, boring, old school that it was. But there is no excuse, right? Like, there is no excuse not to change that this year, right? If the old excuse was you had Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton and maybe they couldn't handle certain things that you wanted to do, well, now you went and paid, $30+ million for a quarterback. You went and got Derek Carr, a guy who looks like a top 5 quarterback in the NFC right now. There is no excuse not to push, not to take chances, not to engage in risk. You did not pay Derek Carr all this money to have him come in and run the same offense that you ran last year with Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton. So, no, Pete Carmichael, now is the time to push yourself creatively, to engage in risk-taking, and to try to make the Saints dangerous again. But Connor's not believing. We'll see.
Chris Did I read that right? Renez in the chat. To be honest, Carolina's weapons that Hester just named don't scare me. And I can understand that thought process because some of them are old, some of them have been injured. But I do think as far as what you're looking for to get a rookie quarterback confidence, I think those are good weapons for him. Like, I think he can actually trust those weapons. I think they can be successful together because they understand the game, right? They might not be at their peak performance, but what it's going to do is it's going to help out a young quarterback. And so I can get behind what you're saying. You know, Adam Thielen's not going to terrify you, right? He's never been a number one. I understand that, but he's a good veteran player that's had a lot of success in the NFL. Like when DJ Chark is healthy, what does he do? He takes the top off the defense. Yeah. Miles Sanders had a really good year a year ago. Hayden Hurst had one of his best years, if not his best year, a year ago. He's a veteran player. So I think they tried to surround Bryce Young, knowing they were going to go quarterback with pieces. Now, you might not ever get to the peak, but I don't think you're going to fall off a cliff either. And that's what Carolina kind of feels like offensively. Defensively, they've got Jimmys and Joes. Like defensively, that should make you nervous. They've got game changers.
Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.